So, it's been a while. Um, so I'm sitting here about to start doing one of my outlines, and I was like, when should I make a video? Because I'm really having a hard time with this semester. There's been a lot going on, and I'm burnt out. I'm so burnt out. So I was like, when can I make a video for these people and be like on my game and be positive and not sound miserable? And then I thought, you know what? This is a blog, or I'm sorry, a vlog about nursing school. It needs to be realistic. And it needs, if I'm miserable or burnt out or I have a lot going on, I need to be honest about that, because the people who watch this are people who are either nursing students or aspiring nursing students or students that are in another field similar to nursing. So I have to make it real. I can't just always be laughy and bubbly and excited all the time. It's not true. That's not how it is. So this is the real deal. No makeup. Haven't washed my hair in a few days. About to start studying. So yesterday I had clinical from 7 to 1. I had my psych clinical. And then I came home. I slept for 2 hours. And then I worked an overnight 7 to 7 shift. I slept for 3 hours today. And I've been up attempting to start studying. And now I'm finally like sitting down to do it. This semester is very emotionally taxing. We've had issues with a teacher, which I can go into at another time, but it was an ordeal. We've had a lot of my friends are struggling. We found out that we have to get 100% on our med math exam to pass this semester. Past semesters, we've had to get a 90 or above on our med math exam, and now we have to get 100, and we get 2 attempts, and if you fail it, then damn, like that sucks for you, because you're stuck in med surg again. And it doesn't even matter if you have an A or a B in med surg. They're gonna make you take it over. It's crazy. So this has just been a very emotionally taxing time. And I'm trying to just get through the last 5 weeks of my fall of senior year of nursing 4. So let me just, I guess, go from when I left off last. So the last time you guys saw me, I think I just took my first 2 exams. And my second med-surg exam, I studied for 2 whole weeks and like really put my all into this. And I got an 83. And like I told you, I'm not putting pressure on myself to be perfect anymore. I did it for the whole time and I'm over it. As long as I pass the class, I don't care. But when you work so hard at something, like every day, all day, studying, and it's not just me, like my teacher this semester, her tests are so hard. Everybody is really having a tough time. Like everybody's struggling. So everyone's really just, we don't really know the best way to study because we've been doing everything we can, and there are people failing. There are people getting like right at C+, which is what you have to get to pass the class. There are people in the low 80s, and there's like 3 people getting A's because they're like super duper smart and, you know, they're like an anomaly. But everybody else is really having a hard time because we're putting so much time and effort, and it's just not getting us the results that we're expecting for the amount of time and effort we're putting in. So that's been a little tough. My teacher, she's just really tough. So yeah, there's that. Then with psych, we've had issues with my teacher as far as him and his teaching ability and his personality. A group of people went to the dean about him because he lectures things Like he really grazes over subjects, and then in the test he asks very specific questions about them, about the things that he completely like just grazed over. Or when you ask him to be more specific about what type of meds or what, what we need to know about the meds, like what should we focus on out of the 11 chapters on our test, he just says everything. Everything. Know everything. Okay, cool. Like, all right. So it's been interesting, and I've learned some good lessons about dealing with tough teachers. Number one, when you're dealing with a teacher who has a bit of a abrasive personality, and I think what his issue is that he's super duper intelligent. It's kind of the same issue we had with our pharmacology teacher. Like, he's just so smart. He's a nurse anesthetist. He's not a psych nurse, but he's teaching psych nursing. He's a nurse anesthetist, and he's so smart that I just don't think he understands how to break down this material into like bite-sized pieces for people who are not very good with psych. He doesn't I think he expects that we have this base knowledge that we just don't have. I mean, I have to say I have the base knowledge because I did take 5 psych classes in my previous time in college. I took a bunch of psych classes. I've already taken abnormal psych. I actually really enjoy learning about psych disorders, and I read about them and watch videos about them for fun because I'm super nerdy. So not everybody has that knowledge base. So I'm doing well in the class, but it's because of everything that I have already done in the past. It's not because he's a good teacher or he's doing things correctly. So long story short, I'm not going to go on and on about this. I just want you guys to learn a little lesson. So a bunch of people went to the dean and complained, and I decided to talk to him personally. So after the second test, everyone failed, except me and like one other person. Everyone in the class, everyone failed. So I decided to go with him and pull him aside and say, listen, everyone's really upset and complaining because you teach this way and you test this way. You say these things in class and then you ask these types of questions, and they don't correlate. Like, these things you're very inconsistent with the things you teach versus the things you test on. So we had this really long, honest conversation, and I realized that, when dealing with different personality types, you have to be sensitive to the fact that people don't take certain information the way that you do. So since he is a bit abrasive and sarcastic, there's kind of a certain way you have to talk to him. And I tried to do my best at being honest and upfront, but also kind of not slamming down his ego, because he's the type of man, you can tell he's the type of man that, like, you need to kind of stroke his ego, not stomp on it, so to get the kind of results that you want. So I did. I talked to him for about 30 minutes. We had a nice conversation, and he decided to scratch that exam and give a whole other exam. That wasn't my plan. I was kind of just hoping that he would do a test analysis and throw out some questions and curve it, and everyone would just get some points added to their test and it would be fine. But no, he decided instead of curving, he wanted to give a whole new test. So I told him that we needed a study guide, because when you have 11 chapters and they're like 30 to 40 pages per, or 20 to 40, I would say, pages per chapter, that's a lot of information. How is anyone going to be able to learn that? Especially, we had to learn it in 3 weeks and be tested on it, and he's not thorough enough in his teaching. So we're like pretty much teaching ourselves. So I told him he needed to offer a study guide, because that's what all of our teachers do in our school, and it's just the way that we do it where I go. So if everybody else does it, just do it, because that's what we're used to, and it gives us some sort of direction. So he did. So he offered a study guide. Everyone took the test. All of my friends anyway, everybody that I know, passed the second test. So things got a lot better. But I realized that it's important when you confront a teacher. I'm not the type to ever complain. Like, I had a bad experience with that before, so I have to be really upset to complain to anybody about anything. I'm not going to write tons of emails. I'm not going to ask tons of questions. I'm just not that person. I don't find that to be effective. But, there are a lot of people who are the emailers and the question askers and the complainers. And there's nothing wrong with that as long as you realize that you're going to have a reputation. You're going to have teachers are going to look at you a certain way. And if you're okay with that, cool. Like, that's you. Do you. But I'm not the type that wants to have any type of preconceived notion around me. I want people to understand that if I'm coming to you, then I have a serious problem because I don't ever speak up and have an issue. So, so I think that's important. Know the type of way you want to be perceived, and if you want to be perceived that way, you need to correlate your actions with that perception that you want to have. Just putting that out there. So I never complain. So when I complain, it means something. I also, when I talk to professors, I really try to put my negative emotions aside and speak to them like humbly. I like to, it's people take criticism a lot better when you are putting it on yourself, when you are saying a lot of I statements. And this goes along with our therapeutic communication peeps. So instead of saying you do this, you do this, you do this, it's more like I don't understand how I'm supposed to receive the information. If you tend to put the blame, and it sounds weird, but you put the blame on yourself even though you're totally wrong, you're not wrong, you're totally in the right, people will perceive their criticism and receive it a lot easier than if you're just like, you're messing everything up, you're doing this wrong. And I mean, I feel like that's just a general rule in life, but when you deal with professors, you still want to be in their good graces, even if you're trying to criticize something about them that you don't like or the way they're teaching. So just remember that when issues come up, because there's definitely going to be issues with teachers in school. And dealing with hard problem teachers is not easy. It's a tough thing to do, and it's emotionally draining. But this situation that we just went through proved that there is a way to handle it that can satisfy everybody, and it doesn't have to get ugly, because it didn't get ugly, thank God. So, so that's med-surg is really hard and ridiculous. Psych is just having issues with the teacher. Med-surg clinical, obsessed. I love my med-surg clinical. I love my med-surg clinical instructor. I love everything we're doing in there. We're in the ICU most of the time, and I'm not gonna say that I want to work in the ICU because I don't know if I would or not. I really like it as far as learning, because it's there. The nurse has 2 patients, and so she can really take the time to explain things to you, and we can all the patients are hooked up to a ton of stuff. They have all kinds of things going on. So there's so much to see, and our assessment skills are really getting better because we get to, do a full head to toe on these people, and it's a little easier to do a full head to toe on someone who isn't like, uninterested or combative. You know what I mean? Because some of them are in medically induced comas, so it's easier to really get your skills down. And I really, really am enjoying my med-surg clinical, and like I said, I love my instructor. It's really been great. I've been challenged. He's tough. I don't think he's for everybody. I'm somebody who I thrive in stress. I do a lot better in stress and fast-paced environments and somebody putting me on the spot, because I don't want to look stupid ever. So since I don't want to look stupid, I really try hard when someone puts me on the spot, and he's definitely the tough love on the spot type of guy. So not everybody can handle that. And I think that luckily I'm in a group. My clinical group is a bunch of people who can handle that type of pressure, and we take it with stride and we really run with it. And I think that it makes my clinical really great because of that. My psych clinical, on the other hand, has been an absolute disaster, and it's because my school sucks. We had my school is going through a lot of financial issues, and now there are 300 students in psych, and they don't have anywhere to place anyone because our psych semesters ended up combining with the juniors. It's weird. Anyway, so there's so many people, they don't have anywhere to put them. So what they decided to do was an outpatient portion of psych clinical and an inpatient portion of psych clinical. So the outpatient portion, the first 7 weeks we had to do like NAAA meetings. We had to do a bunch of like, we had to pretty much find 42 hours to do outside of school of things that are psych related. So that was stressful in and of itself. Now we're in a psych hospital, and I'm in like a real psych hospital. I'm not in a psych unit in a hospital. I'm in an actual psych hospital with all, like, I think they have 10 locked inpatient units. And I was really excited about this because I love psych. I don't want to be a psych nurse. I don't want to do what psych nurses do, but I love the field of psych, so I definitely want to have a career in nursing that has some psych-related stuff going on. I really want to deal with forensics. I'll do a whole video talking about my plans for my career because they have definitely changed. When I originally started nursing school, I wanted to be a psych nurse, and I've realized that I'm not super into the daily job of a psych RN. But I was excited about clinical because I want to be around people. I wanted to do my process recording and all the other, my care plan on somebody with like schizophrenia, bipolar, borderline, some type of psych disorder, so that I can be more comfortable dealing with those types of people and with people with those illnesses. And your girl gets put on the substance abuse inpatient rehab, and I was very annoyed. I'm trying not to let it bother me, but I've dealt with enough substance abuse in the past, like not me personally, but with substance abuse patients. I've dealt with them in the past a lot, and I just don't feel like I'm going to learn anything. So to be continued. Maybe I'm being super negative Nancy about it and cynical, and maybe I'm going to like make a video in 2 weeks and tell you guys how amazing my psych clinical is. But right now, I'm pretty annoyed because I really wanted to be on the schizophrenic floor and be with someone who has schizophrenia or a schizoaffective disorder or something, so that I can be more comfortable with psych patients in that capacity. And in my clinical, we don't get, since our clinical got pushed into 7 weeks, well now really 6 weeks because we have Thanksgiving, we don't get to rotate from floor to floor. Like the floor that we're assigned, that's the unit we're on. That's it. Because we have to do a process recording, a care plan, and run a group therapy session. And when you have 5 weeks, or 6 weeks, that's really just, really 5 weeks because we had orientation. There's just not enough time to rotate from floor to floor. So that's what's going on with me. 18 minutes later, the summary of this is I'm burnt out. I'm ready for this to end. I cannot wait to graduate. I cannot wait for Christmas. I cannot wait for my Christmas break. I'm hanging on by a thread. I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm working. My work schedule is not correlating well with school. I love working nights. I don't want to work days. I did days for the whole last month at my job, and I hate the day shift. I want to work night shift, not because it's easier, because it's not. I actually find night shift to be a little more difficult. But, like, I'm just struggling, guys. I'm really having a hard time. So, as you can tell, I need some encouragement and motivation, and I know I'll get through it. I've been in this position before, but I'm really ready for this to end. So, I hope your semester is going well, better than mine. I hope that you're in a better headspace than I am at the moment. I'm sorry that this was negative, but I just wanted to give a real depiction of what nursing students go through, because this is it. This is what we go through. Me and literally all of my friends. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm in classes with about 9 or 10 people that I'm, like, my core group. All of us are in this space right now. All of us are feeling this way. So I know that if all of us are, 90% of nursing students going through what I'm going through right now in this semester, in your senior year, are going through this. And I'm sure that you guys are going through it if you're not in your senior year, because I went through it with my other semesters. It's just that midway to the end of the semester when they're throwing assignments at you, you're burnt out, you're exhausted, you're eating like shit, you're not taking care of yourself, and that's it. So here we are. Have a wonderful week. I'm going to make a video soon, and hopefully, like I said, it will be less negative. Have a wonderful week. I hope your semester's going great. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.